Good afternoon. This is a meeting of the Griggs County Commission, April 6th at 2:30. Would we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Averill.
Here.
Tranby.
Here.
Zorn.
Here.
Edlin.
Here.
And Wakefield is present. If you have a look at the agenda, offered for approval or any changes?
I motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the courthouse insurance.
Do we have the documentation for that? For the courthouse insurance?
I just would like to add it
What are we,
to discuss it.
is,
To discuss it.
okay, we'll put it on the next agenda, because I'm sure there's going to be some kind of documentation with it.
Well, the question that I do have on it is about documentation for the courthouse
So
insurance.
we'll put it on the next agenda then, so we have time to.
I would like to make a motion to put it on this agenda so we can discuss it.
There, you can't
And then
discuss it
you
without
can-
having information to discuss.
I do have some emails to discuss,
That's
but,
the point. You see, you can't put them onto the agenda until we've had time to digest them.
well, I can bring it up to discuss it, and then we can bring it to the next meeting also.
That's not how it works. You can put it on the
I
next
can
meeting.
put it on this meeting too. There is nowhere that says I cannot add it to this meeting, John.
Or do you make a motion to add to the agenda?
I made a motion to add the courthouse insurance to the current agenda.
Are you offering any documentation?
Would you like me to offer an email, John?
Are you offering any?
Does it matter? I want to add it to it.
That is our procedure and how we do
Where
things.
does our procedure say that, John?
We've always said we have to have the documents in place
When did
before
we
can-
always say that? We have added things before without documentation to discuss something.
We have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I do.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Same sign. Aye. We'll add it to it. So now we'll have to have a motion on the agenda as amended. Do I have approval of the agenda?
Yes.
Motion?
Oh, yes, I'll make a motion.
Motion by Averill. A second to that motion.
I'll second.
Second by Edlin. All in favor? By aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda approved. Let's look at the meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. And,
Dispense with the reading.
yep, dispense with the reading.
We have a motion by Edlin to approve the minutes and dispense with the reading. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Bills. Sam, was there anything you flagged in here?
Nope, nope. The NACO dues got put back in here, but I caught that before it got to you guys. Submitted another invoice, so.
I'll make a motion to accept the invoices.
We have a motion from Edlin to accept the invoices as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
Second by Tranby. We'll have a voice vote on this. Gabriel,
Aye.
Tranby,
Aye.
Zorn,
Aye.
Edlund,
Aye.
Wakefield votes aye. Bills approved. Have a look at the monthly office reports if you would, for any comment. I don't think we have to approve them, but we can. I think they're more for our information.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly office.
Motion by Tranby to approve the monthly office reports. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Averill. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Office reports approved. State's Attorney Tennyson with the opioid settlement.
Good afternoon. For a few of you, I think you're probably familiar with this. There were a couple of big class action lawsuits against opioid companies that were taken on by a few different law firms and the Attorney General's office. One of them has settled, and one of them we already are receiving settlement money. What the settlement was for the opioid crisis. And see them based on the companies knowing the addictive tendencies of the opioids and their promotion of them through their healthcare providers. So there was one class action suit that was settled. There's another one that has been settled, and we've been contacted to participate in the settlement again. We're gonna get some money. It's to be used strictly for opioid remediation, prevention, that sort of thing. So we'll get money, but it's kind of locked into a fund and what we can do with it. So my suggestion is to you that I don't know what the settlement's going to be. It depends on how big the class is. I think last time was someplace around $3,000 that the county got, and that payment is going to keep on continuing. My suggestion is that we accept this settlement too and continue getting the money. At some point, I think the state is going to have the smaller counties and the smaller amounts pool the money together so we can actually do something productive with it. Instead of just having $3,000 hanging out or $4,000, whatever it will end up being. But I think that the right thing to do would be to settle it, sign on the settlement. We're not going to take on those companies ourselves, and a few of them have actually gone bankrupt in the settlement. So I guess I'm just looking for your permission to sign off on the settlement and that we're going to get in the class, I guess.
So you want a motion from us?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the amount?
That's not known yet until the class is determined. I would guess it's probably going to be another $2,000-3,000 settlement.
We could take it and probably put it in a pot for like an addiction.
Yeah,
counseling type of
something like that. That's what it's going to be meant for.
Yeah.
So the legislator, of course, is probably going to get their hands in some of it, and this time probably won't be such a bad thing to be pooled up with a bunch of different counties, because then at least we have the funds to be able to do something with it. $3,000 isn't going to do much with it in a single county, so there's some action at the legislature, and I'm not sure exactly where they're at with that one, but there is some action at the legislature and working with the Association of Counties to try to set something up. So I'm guessing it'll be a couple $1,000s. Really, our hands are pretty tight as far as what we can do with the money. It's specifically meant in the settlement for opioid treatment and remediation and prevention sort of thing. It's kind of like the big tobacco lawsuits. But money comes in the form of grants to public health for prevention, and that's what this is kind of set up to be, just like that. It's kind of going to mimic it. So I think the best thing to do is just sign off on it and take the money and work on the programming with other counties when we get the funds available.
So
Yeah.
you're looking for a motion to accept the,
Yeah, just to join
Opioid
the
settlement?
class, yep.
Okay.
And on behalf of the county, join the class, and then we'll start getting settlement money.
Okay, so
Payments usually come in, I think, quarterly payments, but
so we're looking for a motion to allow the Griggs County to join the class action lawsuit concerning the opioid settlement. Do I have a motion to that effect?
I'll do that.
Motion by Tranby. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Avery. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Courthouse insurance.
And maybe Jamie can explain this or tell this more to us that, back in October, you emailed your friend Corey inquiring insurance on the building?
yeah, and I haven't heard anything, I don't believe, from them, but I guess that's kind of why it's nice to know what's on the agenda so
Yeah.
the person can.
Okay, so anyways, I'll carry
So-
on with that. Well,
Oh, we were good. You were just gonna bring it up and then you were gonna provide the documentation.
Jamie did.
So we don't have any
can
documentation.
I keep talking, please?
No, you can't. We don't have any
Yes, I
documentation.
can, John, you cannot
We
cut me
need
off
to,
on this.
well, when I'm finished, you can keep talking. We don't have any documentation. How are we to present and make a decision if we don't have anything to present upon?
The moral of my long story, short story actually, here is that, as a matter of fact, an email did come through saying that, yes, NDFT will write the building authority. And they sent the information to the insurance gal in town, and she then turned the paperwork over to you, emailed you for it back in October, and she's waiting for you to finish it. So that, because NDFT will write the building authority. So actually, it's just more or less good news that,
So do we have confirmation from NDFT to that effect?
yes, plus they also
Is
sent
that,
it.
who's that from?
This is an email that was sent from Jeff that was sent to Corey and Jamie and Rebecca.
Okay,
Oh,
and
did
Jeff
you
is,
date-
Dated
email.
October 10th.
and Jeff is who?
Jeff is from, he's underwriting for North Dakota Insurance Reserve Fund. I called them
See,
and I inquired upon it.
Again, if you want to bring these things up, we need to have all the information so that we can digest it.
Right.
Because all we can do right now is take you at your word. We need to be able to decide
Right.
whether or not it's
Well, my
correct or
question
not.
is, Sam, did you get the information from Amber to fill out to finish? And if you did, I mean, it's not my job to present it to the commissioners to change these things.
No, so
It's
that's why
really-
we'll put it,
it's really up
we'll put
to-
it
I
onto
mean-
the agenda with these questions for next meeting, and she can compile the information and answer your question. That's how it works. But
So-
that could have been done prior to the meeting, and
Do we
could
have
put
to
it on
have a
next-
commissioner's motion to change that insurance? Yes?
What's that?
To go with NDFT for insurance, that goes through the commission and gets a motion, correct?
All those are questions that will be answered if we can put the information together to answer them. No one has that information offhand, nor can any one of us digest that information. I have no idea what this involves. Sam doesn't know what it involves, Jamie doesn't know what it involves. All we're taking your word that this was done, we need to see that. We need to be able to make an informed decision. Informed decisions require time and they require information.
Okay,
So I
Sam for the,
I found the email to Sam, and I think it's really in poor taste to throw Sam under the bus because the email is a forward from me to Sam, and with the response from North Dakota Insurance Reserve. And I didn't give Sam any instructions, nothing other. This is what the email states. There's been a lot of discussion on this between the North Dakota Insurance Department and us. It's been decided that building authorities are eligible for coverage under the North Dakota Fire and Tornado. I informed your agent today that North Dakota Fire and Tornado can rate the building authority. Our stance continues to be not to rate the exposure of the North Dakota Insurance Reserve Fund side due to liability exposures. And I forwarded that to Samantha. I didn't give her any
That
instructions.
got sent
your-
off to Amber
And
Delphi.
your agents.
If I understand that correctly, they're gonna cover the building authority, correct?
They're gonna
Yes.
cover this building.
Okay, so that isn't a concern of this commission. That is a concern of the building authority, which has 3 members. That is
But who
a
pays
complete-
for the insurance for the building?
That is a completely separate. All I'm doing is reacting to what was said. They will cover the building authority. We are not the building authority.
Okay.
So
Who pays
that'll
for the
have to,
insurance?
that will have to be put before the building authority.
Okay.
If the building authority wants the insurance, then in the lease agreement, the county then pays the insurance. But
Okay.
the building authority is the one that will have the policy, because the building authority is the one that owes the money on the building. The county does not.
So who is going to show this to the building authority, so the building authority, because it's us, the commissioner, the county actually pays the bill, right?
We, in
For
the lease,
insurance.
in the lease agreement, we are required to insure the building.
Right.
Correct. And we've never been
So-
able to insure the building because the building authority owned it.
Right.
Now,
But good news,
it appears
now
like
we
the building
can.
authority, if they so desire, can seek insurance from the
I don't know
insurance
why.
reserve, but the building authority's never been notified of that. This is the first time I'm on the building authority. So is Troy, and I think so is Dale. This is the first time I've heard of it, so I couldn't act on it unless I knew about it. Now that I know about it,
There you go,
that's
you're
fine.
welcome.
But it didn't have to happen as conflict in a meeting like this. That could happen at any time. You could say, John, here's this email, will you bring it up at the next meeting? And certainly we would have done that. I would have informed the building authority that would have a meeting, and we would act upon it. These things don't have to be gotcha controversial things. This is the business of the Griggs County Commission, who is supposed to be looking out for the citizens of Griggs County. This isn't, oh, you did this and we're going to bring it to a public meeting, or she did that and we're going to bring it to a public meeting. This is juvenile. This is kindergarten stuff. If you want to do the work, then let's just do it right out in the open like it's supposed to be done, okay? You were acting on something that isn't even under the purview of the county commission. It's the building authority, according to the little bit I know about it. They said the building authority will be insured. We are not the building authority.
You're welcome.
I think I'm sorry would be appropriate response.
You're welcome for the information. You can say the county money.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, then this
It will now. First I've heard of it, yeah.
On it, and then at that point.
We'll gather information. We'll see what the quote's going to be. It's possible the quote is more
Yeah,
than the quote we've currently received.
okay.
So, did we save money? Don't know. We'll find out. But we don't know anything until we have requested information, had it all dispersed in front of us, and then make the decision.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all in the courthouse insurance?
Yep.
Do you want me to?
Inquire of the
I sent
insurance
it.
reserve and see what is required to insure the building authority.
Because I sent that email off to Amber, and she got back to me and said that she got the app the day before I sent this to her, and there's wording that they may be eligible, but it would be only liability. And so then the next information that she sent back to me was she needed some information on what the heater was and what the AC unit was. So I had left that information for Brian to kind of help me with it, and I never did receive that information back. So
So that needs to be forwarded to the members of the building authority then also, because they're the ones that ultimately have to vote on this.
You know, that's kind of weird though, in just that response, because fire and tornado is kind of the comprehensive and like collisions. That's not the liability portion.
Yeah.
And they stated in this email from the underwriter that the stance continues to not rate the exposure on NDIRF side due to liability exposures. So there are actually they're contradictory terms within those two emails, so who knows if it'll actually be covered.
Again, information and follow through till we get to a point where the building authority can say yes or no. Okay, are we all done with the courthouse insurance?
Yep.
Well, that one was controversial. Let's move on to one that will be a little more controversial, the Fargo Forum article. And for the life of me, I don't understand what this is on the agenda for, but Steph, go ahead.
My only concern is the attachments the emails that went along with the article, especially stating that, we attached our whole entire draft audit along with it, when we are not supposed to. That is actually not supposed to be shared with anybody with the public, according to the Century Code.
So, the Attorney General's office and the Auditor's office isn't quite as smart as they think they are. So they ended the audit on September 30th of 2022, correct? When they wanted a response, they didn't respond.
Here, let me just share it. Let me share this with them. This is the 22nd of September, and this was from the people conducting the audit, and they're still talking about the problem with doing this out in the open. And what they've come to is that if we don't want to do it in the open, this is not an option. Someone just has to tell me it won't be happening, and we can proceed to finish the audit as it sits. I will need a response by September 30th. If I have not held, I have not held up to my last deadlines because I would rather finish this audit the normal way. But this time, we will go ahead and finish the audit if no response is given. So, no response was given. An offer was put forward. No response was given. A deadline was given. The audit is therefore finished. Back to the Century Code. The audit is confidential until the final audit report is issued or work ceases on the audit, at which time the audit report becomes an open record. Now, we haven't had any response since October 5th, so work has definitely ceased on it. They told us that the draft audit was going to be the final audit as of September 30th, 2022. If you want more indication of that, we have many more emails saying the same. We have this audit completed up to this point for many months and think it's time to finish it. I won't be able to wait another 2 weeks for a potential answer, but if someone wants to meet with me, please let me know by the first part of next week. If not, we will go ahead and finish the audit as it sits, dated September 16th, 2022. So this audit is done,
Is completed.
and then it becomes public knowledge,
So-
which is good for you because you just released the whole audit to the public
What-
with these documents here.
So I didn't send the documents to it all.
You
But-
just put them right
Neither did
here.
I, and if I'm being accused of that, like it sounds like I was last meeting, someone better get their shit straight before they start
Who
making
emailed all of
allegations
these
like
to
that.
Rob Port?
Huh?
I didn't, and I
sent?
can show you my email that I sent to Rob Port.
They're public documents. You just put all these public, if you can accuse
Wait a
one
minute.
person.
So
one person-
nobody is admitting to sending the 197 pages of Sam's emails to Rob Port along with
Are you
that?
investigating this right now?
Yes, I'm
Because-
asking it right now.
Because I sure as hell didn't send it. And I'll show you right now from my computer what email I sent.
I
There's
didn't
no
say you
attachments.
sent that. You sent the 11 pages between you,
Right,
your
that's what I sent.
But my question is, who sent this?
I
one?
did.
You sent this.
I did. They're public records. He requested the public records. I sent them to him. That's how it works.
So do you,
Rob Port did. Okay. I
So
was
here-
just
Have you heard of the
So-
First Amendment?
So here's
It's freedom
my-
of the press and freedom of expression.
so here's what this law is designed for.
Here's my-
541024.
You listen to this
Or
stuff.
whatever section of code it is, I think it's 541024. It's not designed to prohibit the county who owns the numbers from disclosing things to the public. It's really funny that the state auditor's office lawyers everything to their favor. It is confidential, but it shouldn't be. The reason it's confidential is because they don't want the state auditor to pull a gotcha before the government subs have a chance to respond to the
That's
draft
right.
audit. That's what it's designed
So-
for. It's not designed to say, you guys can't. Unfortunately, the law isn't written very well for this, and there's House Bill 1508, that this is an amendment of 1508, that is either going to be passed or will be a study for this exact reason.
Well, 1508, all further that one's got to is they had to add CPAs to it. And CPA has to finalize the audit.
Well, there were 17 on March 10th, the day that I testified, or the day I submitted testimony, there were 17 amendments that were added to that one. I actually I was on the phone last night with Emily O'Brien until about 12:30 regarding the auditor. But Griggs County's on the right side of this thing by not paying the bill, by being involved. We're 100% on the right side.
Why are we on the right side?
Yeah, we are.
Why?
We're looking out for the citizens of Griggs County. We had a $3,500 audit that wasn't accepted that was done by a CPA. That wasn't accepted by the state, and they came in and they want to charge Griggs County $30,000.
Wait, back up. Wait. You can't say that the audit was not accepted. 2018-19 audit wasn't accepted by the state because Harold never submitted it. Harold never submitted our audits to the state.
Because he had other audits being rejected.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
He
sure
still didn't
it does.
submit ours.
They rejected 27
They didn't
audits.
reject ours. He never sent ours to be rejected.
They rejected 27 audits,
And-
and
What does that got to do with
the
Griggs
state
County?
audit,
Staff,
state
and the
auditor
first thing-
went
and
to
the first
media and
thing
said
we-
they're not going to accept any audits from Rotunda any further.
The first thing we heard of it was when we get a letter saying that they are going to step in and be the auditor. If the audit wasn't in place,
Did-
the logical thing to do would be have the state auditor send us a note saying, we don't have your 18 and 19 audit, and we would have then somehow figured out what was wrong.
You were called from the state. Were you called from the state saying, hey, where is the 2018 and 19 audits? Did you get a phone call?
No,
Oh, you didn't?
no.
You've got all these.
Okay.
Is there? I mean,
I told you that in the beginning when they
When they
came
sent
in.
that
I said
letter?
I had never gotten any phone calls. Why, if we were late, and that was why they came in? Why didn't they call me? Because I had them.
Okay.
no. And so
Are you aware that they haven't accepted the Mid-Dakota school districts from 18 and 19, I believe, the Dakota Prairie school districts, like 27 other?
Jamie,
entities?
honestly, I don't care about any of the school districts or any of Harold's audits. I care only about Griggs County's audit.
let's talk about
The
that.
commissioners want us, the citizens voted us to sit in this position for this to take care of Griggs County, not Mid-Dakota's or all the other school stuff, the
I don't know.
county's
I'm a
audit.
taxpayer in Mid-Dakota School District, and I think that Griggs County has a responsibility to assist Mid-Dakota schools. Same with Dakota Prairie, that's in our county.
I would just,
So how are you taking care of the taxpayers in Griggs County by pushing for us to pay a bill of $36,000 when we were paying $3,500? How is that beneficial to the taxpayers of Griggs County when the audit right here is now the final audit? There is not one penny out of place in that audit. Samantha
They
did
didn't say-
Samantha did.
he didn't say the audit was bad, that's why we had it. The reason why we had
Will you
the
let me
audit.
finish?
Sure.
There's not one penny out of place with this audit. There were some procedural things that they argued about. They backed down on every one of them. Everything that was been done in this audit has been done this way, and the state has accepted it for the last 30 years since Harold's been doing this. You're out here trying to advocate for the citizens of Griggs County paying for something, $36,000 because we're already paid for the 18 and 19 audit, for something that we don't need, we did not ask for, and will not benefit the citizens of Griggs County. You're spending money for God knows what reason. I don't understand your logic. Can you tell me as a taxpayer how this will benefit me as a taxpayer by paying a bill that we're not due to pay? If there's an argument with this, it should be settled in the court of law where it belongs, and let the citizens decide. You don't decide to spend their money against their wishes. What is wrong?
We received a letter September 21st, right, 2021. And the email stated back then that the audit was going to be $25,000, right? So why are we surprised? And why are we arguing?
disagreed then.
Why are we arguing now about an audit that's been completed and don't want to pay for when we knew then that that's what it was?
We
Because were
disagreed
forced into it
then.
At that point.
They forced us from the start, and we disagreed from the very start. If you go, that's what all these emails are about. This is all in the meeting minutes throughout. Well, absolutely not all these, because about 5 of these comprise most of this 195 pages. They're duplicate after duplicate after duplicate. You've read them, I'm sure.
Out of this,
So anyway, the point is, what is the Griggs County taxpayer going to benefit by us paying $35,000 for an audit that we didn't need, didn't ask for,
Right.
and didn't deserve, and didn't turn up anything that was worth auditing? The only reason, as it appears with the state auditor's actions throughout the state, is that they were income seeking. They were looking for a way to bring income into the state, and they stumbled upon this, and most counties didn't say a word about it. It about broke a ambulance crew.
It almost broke, killed your ambulance crew. They charged $17,000 to the Gwinner Fire Department. They went in and did Williston School for like $250. Let's see, what else did they do? Minot School, I think it was like $250. He asked in his budget for 13 more FTEs. He came and I think they amended it down to 7, because he's stating that there's no private auditors that want to come in and do government subs anymore. Well, I suppose if you get thrown to the wolves like Rotunda got thrown to the wolves, they're not going to have anybody. It's a revenue-seeking source for the state auditor's office. And Griggs County fell victim to this. And in 1508, there is amendment to retroactively refund some of this money.
That got
to
thrown out.
different subdivisions. It's not thrown out yet. Also, they have actually moved on their own to retroactively make deals with the government subs to give them some money back. There's a portion of it that is going to limit the amount of money that can be charged to government subs. There's a portion of 1508 that's supposed to be 2 weeks ago. There's supposed to be that amendment, like I said, that would allow the counties to own the draft audit and not be confidential. So there's a lot of stuff going on with 1508. There's stuff that if it doesn't pass in 1508, it's going in the budget bill in 2004. So I don't think that we won't definitely, I don't think we pay it in the first place, but we definitely don't pay it now when there's pending legislation regarding all these issues. I'll be the first one to say, and I think John will probably say the same thing, when the state auditor came in and started making this stuff public and they were doing audits of subdivisions and government agencies, I thought it was awesome. It was the greatest thing since sliced bread, because people were being made accountable, until he started pulling the gotcha things on people and came in to us and audited us for $30,000, just about bankrupt the Killdeer ambulance for $48,000. There are like at least 49 different occasions where this has happened to the different government subdivisions. We're on the right side of this thing. It's not that we're trying to hide audits or trying not to be accountable. He is an overzealous auditor, and he's not doing the right thing for the citizens of North Dakota. We can't afford $1.5 million or $1.25 million, whatever it is, to pay for an audit. That's ridiculous. That money could be going back to the taxpayers, or that money could be paying for services. If we pay this, it's absolutely absurd. If we don't fight it, it's absolutely absurd, and stick up for the county.
That's why, back to my question, Steph, we are not the rulers of the citizens of Griggs County. We are the representative. We're here because to represent a certain portion of each one of them, because we don't have room for 2,000 people in this room to make decisions every 2 weeks. Given that fact, how in the world can you justify spending money over and above what it would have cost the citizens? What is the justification? What is the benefit to the taxpayers? Because ultimately, we are here to benefit the taxpayers. And I would really, you don't have to give me an explanation, but I would really like an explanation on how you think paying $36,000 is a benefit to the taxpayers over what we were paying. And given the fact that nothing was found in this audit, it was perfect. We know what the audit was. We allowed it to become the final audit. One more point, audits are black and white. They're not open to negotiation. Why did the auditor want to negotiate behind closed doors?
Since it's a
He
final,
wanted to negotiate behind closed doors because he didn't want all these emails and his actions coming out. He didn't want us to say, well, what did Harold do wrong? Why didn't you notify us? Why is your bill so high when it says $85 an hour is what you're supposed to charge? All those questions would have been asked in a public forum. That's why they backed away from this, and that's why they're in trouble with all these different state entities and the legislature. But again, my point is, how in the world is a representative for the citizens of Griggs County on their side of this? It doesn't make any sense to me.
now how would we ever be on this side had our audit been completed and submitted and done? We would have never gotten in this mess if Harold would have submitted our audit into the
They
state.
intimidated him, and
Did Harold tell us?
did the state tell us? We didn't know.
Is it the state's job to tell us? to tell us that they accept Howard's? The state did call you.
So let me ask you this, why
No,
is
they
Minnesota
didn't.
School District and Dakota Prairie School District in the same situation where they've had to look at either being audited by the state auditor's office or someone else?
The state auditor's office
Did,
only called me this day to tell me that they were coming in because they were not accepting Harold's audits anymore.
This seems-
Period. They did not tell me that we were delinquent. They said that they were not going to accept Harold's audits any further, and they were going to come in and do our audit.
This seems
But
to
the
be
letter-
some kind of personal vendetta here, and I don't
The
get
letter-
it. I'm starting to get it. Everything you do here is directed at the auditor. I don't know what the reason for that is, but that's got to quit. That's got to quit. We are here to represent the citizens. We are not here to condemn each other or any of the other employees. And that's got to come to an end.
Out of 53 counties, 25 of them use the state auditor to do their
Staff.
audits.
Again, the question is, how does this benefit the taxpayers of Griggs County? When you can answer that question
Well, don't we
satisfactorily.
look stupid that we had them come in and do a whole entire service, a whole entire audit, and then now decide that tell them how many months later that they're wrong, they should have never done this?
Jesus, have you listened to
Have
any
you
of this
listened
conversation
from the
we've had
very
today?
start? This has been our stance.
And we are the only county of the other 25 that are using them that has an
We
issue.
are not using them. They made us do it.
They made us
Nelson
do it.
County uses them. Nelson
Because
County
we
says
were
state auditor
delinquent.
coming out of Nelson County.
Because we were delinquent.
We were never notified we were delinquent. The time we were notified we were delinquent, at the same time they said they're taking over the audit.
Okay, so
That's
Sam
not
just
how it
explained
works.
what was going on. Sam said they called and said they weren't going to accept Rotunda's audits anymore, so they were going to come and audit us. That's a pretty black and white explanation. Same thing with two other school districts that have land in Griggs County.
So
What else? I don't understand how to explain it any better to you than the state auditor's office is not doing things the right way. And there's a reason that there's a pile of people testifying. They drove the director of the Killdeer ambulance. She was crying at the testimony because they've harassed them to the extent that they didn't know what else to do. She was crying in the middle of testimony. I've never seen that happen before. Have you watched any of the testimony?
Are we saying that our audit is final?
That's my question. We never,
It ceased to continue. I don't think
So
it's a
it's final.
audit.
What John said it's final.
we've never.
That's why he posted it.
We never made a motion
Final.
ever.
Soon as
We didn't have to, but they gave us a deadline. They
Correct.
said if you don't respond by,
Then it automatically goes in effect.
then it becomes finalized.
Finalized,
Correct.
okay.
Well, I don't know if it's finalized or
Yeah.
it ceased to continue
point.
is what the statute says.
So
So they've quit on it because we haven't heard from them. We don't know what the status is.
well, they can't close it or end it until the right paperwork is signed.
Well, they've had the offer to come in and do it. I had a call from Mary Kay Kellish from the Attorney General's office that said, "Why won't you guys speak with them?" And I said, "We'll do it at a meeting." Well, we can't because it's confidential. I said we can do it in an executive
Okay,
session, and that was the last time I heard from them. That was
Let
probably
me
November
use the words.
2022.
Let me tell
Yeah,
you what
okay.
the state auditor says about this. I will need a response by September 30th, 2022. I have not held up to my last deadlines because I would rather finish this audit the normal way. But this time, we will go ahead and finish the audit if no response is given, September 30th. So we didn't give a response. They stuck by their word. They went ahead and finished the audit. It is black and white. The audit is over with, it's finished. It becomes, the draft becomes the final audit, and it is open to the public. This isn't Jamie, this isn't me, this isn't
Then why
anybody.
did we send Harold's any if that one's the
This
finished
is-
one?
This isn't anybody's but their own words. They said, respond by September 30th. That is either you respond or here's what we're gonna do. It's no different than if you are summoned to court. If you don't respond, you are found guilty. Same thing here. So we didn't respond. We agreed to their terms. Our non-response was the agreement to the terms. Now, the ball's in their court. They said they finished the audit. We just haven't received it. Why we haven't received it, don't know. So we didn't receive it, so we know we have to put in an audit, so that we went ahead and turned in the 18 and 19 audits from Harold. We have given the audits that we were required to give. They have not given the audit they were. There's an answer to your question. But again, I'm back to my same argument. Why do you want to spend $36,000 of Griggs County taxpayer money for something we don't need, never asked for, and was shoved upon us in a form of extortion? And when you can answer that, I will agree with you that it was good for the citizens, and that's the way that it should go. But other than that, this appears to be some kind of vengeance against maybe me, maybe Jamie, maybe our auditor. But this is not in the best interest of the citizens of Griggs County. This is some personal vendetta, and that's gotta quit.
But this is an audit.
gotta quit.
We have to have an audit done annually, John. Is that correct?
They're done.
Or every 2
18 and
years.
19 is in. Has the state even said anything? Why are we arguing about this? Again,
Oh,
answer my question.
well then-
How is this?
Okay, so then I make a motion to finalize the state's auditor as it states in their email, that it is final, that
You
it's
don't
done.
have to. They already finalized it.
Well, I'll just make it for sure, end it, and say yes. I'll make a motion, we accept their draft audit.
You want to
Yeah.
then accept it and then have to be bound to paying that money?
Bill, that's the
Of course
problem.
not.
Well, we're allowed to pay the bill anyways because they,
Why?
Why?
To pay the bill.
because they did the service. Why did we let them do the service all the way through and then
We-
decide at the end not to let them do the service?
At the end, not at the end.
They forced us to
We
do it.
fought this the whole way through. Read that stack of emails. We were against this the whole
So they
time.
spent 325 hours from June until,
I don't
or from
care what they
September
did.
until June fulfilling this audit.
We didn't want the audit. We
So-
didn't need the audit.
And
So why did they pick Griggs County out of all the
And
counties? I
Again,
know why they picked Griggs County, because we have looked like the provincial problem child. We're not the problem child here, guys. We're on the right side of this.
yeah. Again, why? So you just want to willy-nilly write a check, or now you want to make a motion to enable us or bind us to writing a check for $36,000 that we don't need to write. If the state is really worried about this, they have the ability to have their attorneys contact us and let's go to court with this. Let's put it out in the open. Let's let a jury of our peers decide whether or not who acted correctly in this. Did the county commission act correctly and oppose being subjected to $36,000 of taxpayer money against their will, or did the auditor act correctly? That's how disagreements are settled.
So I want everybody to know this too. I didn't take on this fight, and John didn't take on this fight like a bull in a china shop. Without
It
getting
came to us.
a little bit of direction and a little bit of help from some people from Bismarck, from the Association of Counties too. They've been on board with the fight the entire time, and in fact, to the point, I'm the vice president of the Association of Counties, and to the point of, hey, I think one of the texts was there's the legislators are feeling or seeing water, blood in the water, and there's sharks. You and Wakefield should get out here and get involved. So, we didn't do this for the hell of it. We did it for, I mean, we're on the right side of this. It's the right reason. This isn't something that I necessarily even wanted to get involved in, but it's the right thing to do, and that's what we have to look at. And it's not the right thing to spend $1.5 million of Griggs County taxpayers' money for something that we got bullied into doing. That's ridiculous.
I agree.
so there,
So-
I don't,
And I actually would ask you to go talk to the citizens of Griggs County, explain the situation, have them listen to this meeting, have them call me, anything, and then ask them if they think you should pay the money.
well, I don't,
Could I
Well,
let
I just
Andy
want,
have
just
the
quick,
microphone?
okay, So it was 36,000 total supposedly.
Mhm.
We paid him 12.
We've only
10.
paid four times more than we should have.
10,000.
Yeah, I know, but we paid 12, but.
No, 10,000.
Oh, well.
I thought it was 12, but when we looked back,
Okay,
we
whatever.
found that it was
Yeah,
10.
right.
Yeah, that's my point, is what, so we're,
Yeah, so there has been
Yeah.
far more money paid than we normally paid, over 3 times already.
So are they looking at changing the, like reason why, what gives them power is Century Code 541013, saying that they have the power to make a discretion to come in for alleged improprieties, which we didn't file an audit.
So normally, the alleged improprieties would be a petition audit.
Yeah.
I have yet to figure out why they came after Griggs County without a petition or without any allegations. Because the Williston School District, the
Well, it says or a
Killdeer-
petition.
But what are the improprieties other than Rotunda being our auditor?
Delinquent. It's delinquent.
But they said they
we
wouldn't
weren't
accept Rotunda's audit, so that's
Yeah.
why they're delinquent, right?
We didn't even send in his to be to get rejected. That's my point.
Did you listen to anything Samantha had to say? They called her and said, we weren't going to accept Rotunda's audit, so you're delinquent.
Yeah.
So we're gonna come in and audit you,
That's
right?
what the letter, that's what the
So-
first email says.
So what's the use of trying to submit them? I mean, they said they weren't gonna accept them. So they didn't accept 27 school districts. Dakota and Dakota Prairie are still fighting over their 18 and 19 audits. They've gone to lengths as far as trying to hire a different auditor, not the state auditor, but they've been working with Rotunda since that time. I've spoken with the school board member on both districts. I know what's going on there.
And they never gave a reason for it at all whatsoever.
Yes, here's an email from this Daniel Cox who sent it to us. It says, we are accepting, and this started just last July 22. We are accepting reports from Rotunda. We've never stopped accepting his reports. The issue is that there are very few of his reports that we are approving because the audits or the audit reports or the work papers supporting those audits have not been meeting standards. So that's
The thing about that is Harold's a CPA. He's got to hold his work up to the standards, or else he
Right.
gets in trouble.
exactly.
So what are their standards different than general accounting standards? That's the
I
problem.
suppose when you
That's
ask
what
for
I'm
work
kinda curious.
papers, he
Why-
needs to show them.
So actually, that's funny because one of 1508, probably one of the biggest 1508 amendments that's still in there, is that the state auditor's office shall accept any audits from a CPA.
Yeah.
Harold's a CPA. This wouldn't have been an issue. This probably won't be an issue if 1508 passes as written right now.
September 15th, 2021. This letter is to inform you of the audit of Griggs County for the year ending December 31st, 2019 and December 31st, 2018. Note this audit is currently in delinquent status and we will now conduct by the Office of State Auditor, now be conducted by the Office of State Auditor. That's the first we knew that audit was delinquent. At the same time they told us it was delinquent, they pushed the audit upon us. And from there forward, we have the rest of this. Now, again, this we're getting all wrapped in circles here. Either we believe this is right to spend the taxpayers' money, or we believe it is wrong. We're not the slaves of the state auditor. We are able to address any grievances we have with the system in place. The system in place is a legal system. This is no different than being billed something you don't agree with. You take it to court or you settle it. What further compounds the fact that Griggs County is on the right side of this is 30 other entities that are in the same position, and the fact that they went after one of the leading auditors, numbers-wise, in the state and took him out of the game and then stepped into that gap. This is so. If this was a one-off and this was just Griggs County, I would still be opposed to paying this. But the fact that this is statewide, involving multiple instances of this has to go to a court of law if that's as far as they want to push it, and then we'll live with the outcome of that.
There's actually more than 30. There's
I know.
somewhere around 50 actually, but there's more than that because they're afraid to come forward because of retribution from the state auditor's office.
Yep.
It's actually, it's kind of sad and kind of ridiculous what's going on right now out there. And like I said, it's not that I'm fighting being transparent. That's my argument with the state auditor's office. We need to be as transparent with the citizens as possible.
That's what we're trying to do.
We're trying. That's why we argued with them for 2 months over bringing the audit into an open meeting before we okayed it. That was the argument. We need to be transparent. If we did something wrong, let's be accountable for it.
But
So-
during that time, there were draft papers, so they couldn't because according to their century code, which is their law, they couldn't.
Well, which is still
But,
ridiculous.
But it's still a law. It's still century code you need to abide
Right,
by.
right. But they could have brought it to an executive session. They didn't do that. They had an offer. They had an offer for me. They still have an offer for me 3 weeks ago to do it.
Yeah.
They still haven't done it.
And they were fine with closing the audit. We were fine with closing the audit. We
I
saw the results
So,
of the audit.
Since the audit's closed and
Can
it's
we,
done,
yeah, can we bring in?
It needs to be filed.
Could they come, could those, before we couldn't do it because of the fact that they wouldn't do it because it wasn't finalized by us, correct?
Why do we
But-
want?
but-
We don't
but-
want.
We don't
to vote
want
on it,
their
guys.
audit.
We don't
No,
want to pay for it.
I'm just saying that, what now, since we didn't do anything, will they come and talk to us now in a public forum?
They were offered 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks ago when they tried to slap my hand for the
Yeah.
court article in the first place.
Yeah.
You
They
follow what
got
I'm saying?
they got a response from me and said, "Hey, come and meet with us. You have the opportunity to come to executive session." I haven't had a response from them yet.
Okay,
We-
but you
we've-
follow my point, so.
And we've filed the 18 and 19
Yeah.
audits. They have received them in their office. The ball's in their court. So we have filed them. We're working on the 20 and 21, and we'll file those. We're doing everything according to the protocol that's been done in this county for the last decades. We haven't changed the way we do the audits. We haven't changed auditor for I don't know how long. How long has Harold been an auditor for?
Their original offer was for me, Samantha, and John to meet behind closed doors to discuss the audit. Who in their right mind, first of all, would of the three of us would have done that? But I could imagine the allegations that would have came forward from
Absolutely.
everybody in the community had it been the three of us that met behind closed doors with state auditor. Second of all,
that's true.
John
You a draft.
can't unilaterally, Samantha can't unilaterally, or I can't unilaterally okay an audit.
Why can't
That's an action of a
who
commission.
who reviewed and okayed Harold's audits that were just mailed?
The state's going to.
No,
No, the commission did.
commission did.
The commission
When?
did.
In a meeting.
They were presented to us in a public. I mean, they're public. We do that.
did
they're
Harold
a-
sit here and present us
Yes.
the 2018 and 19 meet?
Yes.
When? Not since I've been here.
They don't have to be reviewed.
When did
They're
you
sent to the
start?
state for review.
But you're demanding the state auditors to review their draft audit with us when we didn't review Harold's draft
again,
audit.
Steph. Evidently,
Harold was here, and Harold's been here every year.
Yes, Harold was great. Harold has, every year he's had him submitted on time by October, about every
But
year.
we review them with them. We have every year
Who's
since
we?
okay,
commission.
Steph. Are you for or against paying the money to the state?
I am for finalizing this audit and putting it to bed and being done with it.
It is done. Are you for or against
Is
it?
it-
If you are for spending Griggs County taxpayers' dollars unnecessarily, then you have to explain that to the citizens. I believe this has nothing to do with that. I believe that's secondary. I believe you have some kind of vendetta going here, and that has got to stop. This is not a place for that. That corrupts the whole
John,
business.
where is
That
my
corrupts.
vendetta?
Everything is aimed at the auditor or me.
There have been two allegations against the auditor.
And Jamie.
And if the stuff doesn't stop, at some point, I'm guessing there's probably going to be a hostile work environment.
What allegations am I throwing at Sam?
Well, let's see. Just in this meeting alone, the courthouse insurance, you made the allegation that she didn't respond to that. Now this, all the different allegations concerning this audit that she didn't inform us and the rest of it. Everything is aimed that way. But again, how is this benefiting? How is this nonsense? The citizens are going to listen to this and say, this is stupid. This is really stupid. Why are you guys wasting your time arguing over whether or not we should pay $36,000 or not pay it? And what in the world is one of our own arguing against us for? And I would like that question answered, but you're not gonna answer it, so I have to assume that this is personal, and that does not belong in this chambers. That
Oh.
is detrimental to the business of Griggs County.
John, there is nothing personal for anybody here. I am merely speaking of an audit that we are to have done annually per the Century Code, at least every 2 years. Harold was doing it annually. We didn't have it done. We didn't get it done. The state came in and did that. They did it for us. Now,
To us.
stop.
To us.
Now, here we are, let the state come in, the state came in, did a whole entire audit. Now we're arguing to finalize the audit and pay the bill.
No, we're not. I'm not arguing to pay the bill. I think from the start this was extortion. I think now it's extortion. I think the state believes that they're on the wrong footing because they haven't responded since October 4th of 2022. I think the state legislature believes that the auditor is out of bounds. I think the only person that believes the auditor is right are you and the auditor. And for God's sakes, I can't figure that one out.
One question.
Yep.
If we, let's say, make a motion to approve it, are we in the hook then for it?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, why would we do that? We have
No, I'm
rotundas.
just,
We
just,
have
I'm just,
rotundas audits
I
already.
just throw that out.
Out of 53 counties, 25 use the state auditors, seven are delinquent. 7 counties are delinquent as of right now for their audits. And but the auditors, majority of them done by the state. So how are other counties?
Why would we want to pay $25,000 a year for the state to do it?
I didn't want to either. However, Harold should have had his audit in.
Jesus.
If
I don't
he
know
would
how
have
many
had it,
times
it'd
it
be
has to be
done.
explained to you, Steph. The state said they weren't going to accept rotundas audits.
It was in, it just wasn't accepted for
Right.
some odd reason, right?
Or it was
He
done.
never submitted it.
No, they were done. They were done.
Yeah.
But
He just
not
didn't dare submit them because they were
submitted to the
rejecting the
state.
rest of his audits.
Oh, I see.
And see, you can't unilaterally reject an audit before it gets in there. So they made it to the point where he didn't dare turn them in because they were going to reject them.
Anyway.
The
And he never even told
the
us.
fact remains right now that we have the 18 and 19 audits with the state. We supplied them, and we haven't got verification that the state has supplied the 18 or 19 audit. In September, they said they were going to finalize it. It is finalized, but they haven't moved forward from there.
Well, if it's
So-
finalized, it should be already up on our website saying that it's not delinquent. We should have had to have sent in heralds. If it's finalized,
But like he was saying, they were going to reject it regardless, so he didn't turn it in, which makes sense. So basically what they're saying is, well, they went along with their own audit. We didn't respond, so they just did it, and now they want to bill us for it, which makes no sense.
Very good.
So, and this is a complete philosophical thought of mine in the first place. Why in the world is a state agency charging the county money to do an audit in the first place? They're a state agency. They're already paid from taxpayer money from us in the first place. So they have to charge them. They've got way more resources than the county does.
Sounds like
Why
somebody's
in-
pocketing something.
Why in the
Well,
world are we
there's-
paying
There's
for it?
articles about that where they're looking for the money, that their money is not adding up.
Yeah, it's
I mean-
it's called income seeking, and it's no different than them making a law that you have to have a license and pay a fee to braid hair or do fingernails. It's income seeking. It brings in money to them. This makes zero sense, and this would not be an issue, except that for some reason Steph believes she's working for the state auditor rather than the citizens of Griggs County, and I don't know why that is. Maybe she has further ambitions in life. I don't know.
We just need, the great thing for the taxpayers of Griggs County is not to be pushed around, not to spend more money than they need to.
That's right.
They didn't find any difference from Rotunda's audits to the state auditor's audits. Why pay for that?
And if push, there's a long ways down this road. If it comes to a legal issue and Griggs County at the end of it is found to have to pay this, that's fine. But we certainly shouldn't surrender to a threat, a veiled threat, or whatever we have going on here. We should not throw the citizens of Griggs County under the bus. We need to fight for every penny of their money. That is our obligation, that's our duty, and that's what I intend to do. And I would hope that the majority of this commission intend to do the same thing.
I encourage everybody to watch the testimony in the committees from House Bill 1508 and Senate Bill 2004. I would encourage everybody to take some time and go listen to those. Those are the two big auditor bills right now. And listen to what the auditor has done in different communities. Listen to the way he treats the legislator. And listen to what's going on. I think it'll open everybody's eyes up, and I wish all the citizens, everybody would listen to it. The actions right now aren't to not make government accountable as far as what's going on in the legislature. The current auditor thinks he's everybody's white knight, and that's not the case. He's just spent a pile of government subs money who can't afford it. For instance, the Kildare ambulance, they had to borrow $48,000 against their ambulance. They lost their advanced life support designation. They had to go to a basic life support designation because of the audits and because of the charges that they had to submit to. So if you guys think that's a service to the citizens of North Dakota, that you lose designations of ambulance service in a rural area, that's absolutely absurd.
Oh, I think they're suing the state right now also because they say the state broke confidential information and sent out information.
Well, that's the exact statute that they are trying to protect themselves on in Griggs County. They did the exact opposite with Kildare.
They didn't
and
give out.
Winter.
They gave the information saying how long it's taking to do the audit.
So I'm all for being transparent, and that's what we've tried to do from the first time that they wanted to meet behind closed doors. If they want to meet with the county and they want to discuss the audit, the citizens should have the right to be here. They should have the right. It's a citizen's money. It's a citizen's numbers, and they have the right to hear what's going on. Whether Griggs County is doing something right or wrong, especially more so if Griggs County is doing something wrong, they have the right to be here because it's their money, and we're supposed to be the fiscal agents for it.
And the citizens are here. They're here, and there's 250 of them standing behind each one of us. We're supposed to represent their best interests. We are supposed to act in their best interests. We're not supposed to spend their money unnecessarily, and we're certainly not supposed to buckle to demands being made by a state agency that is gone rogue. It takes a lot. Remember, this guy's a Republican in a severely Republican majority state, and his own are going after him over this. You got to really, really screw up in order to have that happen, and that's what's happening here. So whatever caused this to be on the agenda has got to come to a stop. We're not going to air out petty grievances here anymore.
We're not going to finalize the state audit. Is that that's?
Did you listen to the email that was written? Our non-response finalized the state audit. If we had not responded by September 30th, they went ahead and finalized it.
And they're trying to bill us for it, which we shouldn't pay anyways, right?
What's that?
And they're trying to bill us for it, even though we shouldn't pay it. Am I correct?
I've never even seen a bill.
They've never discussed it with us, so why would we approve it?
Rob, yeah, and why would we anyway? We have.
It is already approved because our lack of response approved that finalized that audit, so it's done.
No, they said they were going to finalize it. We didn't say we approved the finalization. They said they're going to finalize it. Yeah. So again,
They approved the audit though, not the bill. There's no bill.
There's no bill. There's the $10,000 that was spent previously. The $36,000 came from that Rob Port article. He evidently went to either to the state legislature, gave it to him, or the auditor did. That's where that number came from.
You never seen that bill, right? Sam?
No.
We haven't received a final bill?
No. We've been told, I think, what their cost would be, didn't we?
Roughly. What we
Yeah, it does. I mean,
know,
why would we pay it?
Yeah.
We've got the 18 to 19 audit in their office. It's the ball's in their court. Are they going to accept it or reject it? If they reject it, they have to say why. From the start, this has been extortion.
They've had the offer to come meet with us. They've had the offer to come meet with us in executive session. They've had the offer to come meet with us in a meeting. The dumb thing about the draft audit, it comes to the commission in executive session. We discuss it. It gets approved outside of executive session, a normal meeting. Then it's no longer confidential. That's how stupid it is. There's a 30-second difference of it being confidential and it not being confidential. It's absolutely ridiculous the way the law is written, and it's not written to really affect the counties of them distributing it. It's, so he can't do what he did against Dunn County or
Yeah.
Kildare and Winter Fire Department. That's what it was meant for.
But what, yeah.
So the question is to them, if this passes and all that, are they gonna get their money back or do they gotta eat that? Don't
They
know.
don't know how the bill is going to end up coming out. Don't know if it's going to pass or if it's going to be a study or they're going to throw it on the budget side on 2004. Don't know if the state auditor's office is just going to say, crap, we better just start giving these guys some of their money back. I don't know yet. It's a couple weeks out from playing out, I think, but something will happen. I just don't know what yet.
Yeah, but the outcome of that has no standing on where we are here.
Right.
We are in a position where the audit was finalized, the ball's in their court. We have already turned in the 18 to 19 audit. We're working in the 20 and 21. We never agreed. It was forced upon us. And if the offense was if it was a hanging offense for refusing to pay this, I'd still refuse to pay it because it's not right. The state is not our master. And again, we got to put an end to this, and I think the discussion can be over with this. Steph, are you done with this?
I'm done with this.
So what do we gotta do to finalize this then?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No action.
No, but I mean, like, do we gotta make a motion to just
No.
push us outside or just
Don't
not
say
work with?
anything.
Okay.
He could call for, I mean, the right way to do it would be for John to call for a motion 3 different times, and if there's no motion, it just dies.
Okay.
To do what? We can't call for a motion to finalize something that's already been finalized according to their words.
We'll just move on to the
Yeah,
next
we can just
topic.
move
So
on.
that's what I want. I don't want to just move on to it and then have it just sit there where we. gotta
It's
bring
gonna
it
sit
back.
dead until something is done with it.
There you go.
Okay.
And it sits dead until something gets done with it or something's
It'll
resolved.
be brought up again
But it's-
later.
But hopefully the next time it's brought up, we're in complete unison on what we should do here. So, given that, Steph, if you're done with that, you brought this here, are we ready to move on to another agenda item?
Yeah.
Abatement. Look that over, and I assume it's signed by the correct.
It got signed by the city and the city approved it.
Okay, so our policy has always been to approve the abatements if they're signed by the correct township officer.
I'll make a motion to approve the abatement for taxes there for, have said name or not?
No, I don't think it's necessary. We have a abatement for refund of taxes for a disabled veterans credit for 2022. We have a motion on the table, Mr. Tranby, to approve the abatement. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. We'll have a voice vote on this. Gabriel?
Aye.
Tranby?
Aye.
Zorn?
Aye.
Headland?
Aye.
Wakefield votes aye. Abatement approved. New courthouse, it's courthouse.
I have nothing.
Storm hasn't wrecked anything. The storm hasn't wrecked anything.
Sam doesn't dare go in there, it's haunted. At some point, we should try to move something, either get someone to take it over. It doesn't look like we're gonna get it tore down, and we can't get, I mean, maybe the easiest way to do it is to give it a yearly tax levy of some sort and donate it to the Historical Society.
Well, would the Historical Society or the Grace County Historical Society, would they be interested in taking it?
Well, maybe. So, the way I look at it is it's sitting there, and as it sits there, we can't tear it down. But if we tear it down, there's $1 million that needs to be paid back.
At least, yeah.
And as it sits there, it needs to be maintained. So it's more of a risk sitting there, not doing anything, than if we could. Maybe we give it $1.5 million every year and donate it to the Historical Society and let them decide what to do with it. Because either way, it's gonna cost us money, so if we pay it now and a little bit at a time and it goes towards a useful purpose, maybe that's way better than all of a sudden it falls down, then now we gotta tear it down, and now we have to repay the $1 million to the grant. Maybe that's the easiest, most cost-effective way to do it. And, you know, in the vote that we had, it was 55-45, I believe. We had a vote put out
Yeah, I
there.
think that's what it was.
The people, I would almost assume that the people that voted not to tear it down are the most passionate about that.
Correct.
Yeah.
You'd be right.
So I don't know if we would run into a lot of resistance for the people that voted to tear it down. The way it was presented, it's gonna cost us money. I think if we could find some use for it, and in my personal belief, it is historic.
So, okay, so I'm on the
Yep.
historical board, you know that. So I can bring that to the next board meeting and bring that to your attention and see what your thoughts are. If you want me to do that.
I mean, I'm just putting it forward. It would take a vote of the commission,
Yeah,
but
I
I think at some point that, at this point, the commission is responsible, totally financially responsible
Yes.
for that thing. If
Correct.
we could share that responsibility across a broader region, I think it would be beneficial to everybody.
Another thing is, let's say hypothetically that the British County Historical Society takes it over, do we have more leeway with get different funding for it?
I would
Follow-
imagine we
you
probably
you
do
follow
it.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
bet there is historic money available. It's
Yeah.
probably about $20,000 a year. But if we combine that with a little bit of tax levy, maybe that'd be enough. I know Jamestown, Stutzman County, they've rehabbed their old courthouse.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of tourist thing.
Yeah, with the historical society and some, I'm guessing, grant money from the state and someone else.
Something will probably have to be done sooner than later, because there's gonna be a point of where you've let it sit so long, that what do you do with
It's
it?
gonna fall down on us, and it's big bucks to take it down.
Right.
Absolutely. So
What
that's.
what is the reason that we can't take it down? Is it because it's,
it was part of the grants that we got to build this, right?
I need
And
to,
then
yeah, where's the paperwork?
To
for
get
so we
that
can
grant,
read
it was to keep that standing, or am I missing?
That's correct. So
Yeah, the grant was taken contingent on leaving that building up because it was a historical site. And the county agreed within the grant to not allow it to fail to neglect, is really what it is. It is some other term that they use, but we can't neglect it and allow it to fall down.
demolition by
Yeah,
neglect.
demolition by neglect.
So this was all agreed to without being made public.
But the only way to get that to go through, to have it taken down is through the Historical Society, like you were
Get the
stating?
okay from the Historical
The state.
Society.
Yep.
We've taken some steps, and I don't remember, I mean, there's quite a bit. I think the next step actually was to get a plaque made.
That's the fifth step.
And then we need to put it up for bid, but I think what my biggest concern would be the cost effectiveness of tearing it down, because there's gonna be asbestos in that building, and I would guess that
It'd be very
building's gonna be a
expensive.
few $100,000 to take down without asbestos. With asbestos remediation, I bet it's probably gonna be pushing $1 million.
Yeah. So I can only speak for the last 10 years, since 2013, but we've been pursuing this permission from the State Historical Society the whole time.
Well, from 2019,
Good.
Jamie sent over, shared the information on the Historical Society. There's 5 things you have to do to have it taken down. The first one was the HASB, whatever it's called, and that was done by NDSU. Then you need to update the site form, you need to update the National Registry form, do a salvage list, and then make a plaque. But the 3 items in the middle are not feasible for this average person to do for those 3 things in the middle. Those are, you have to have a historian, architect to do it.
The salvage list would be somebody special.
And that's,
Yep.
that's that's a list of 5, added to a list of about 20 items have been done before that.
So-
The whole argument has always been, every time we complete what they want, they come up with more tasks to do. So we've sent them letters stating, what do we need to complete in order to give you permission to tear this down? An inclusive list. You tell us, and then you put it in writing, is we complete these items, we'll be able to raise the building, and they'll never sign that.
We got that.
It's
No,
kinda, yeah,
no,
it's been
that-
a moving target since
They've never
2014.
agreed to give us permission. They've said, here's what you have to do, these 5 items, and at the end, never said, if you complete these items, we'll give you permission. That's what we want. We've asked for that on a number of occasions for that wording, and they've sidestepped that. But given that, how uncooperative they've been trying to tear it down, I bet they would be cooperative if we tried to keep it. So let's switch.
You know, the state historical always wants to keep that up.
Yeah,
That's pretty obvious.
right. So let's put them on our side. Let's reach out to them and say, okay, we actually can't tear this down. We'll agree with you. What can you do to help us?
So one of the things
But that has to come from the locals.
Yeah, one of the things that I think we need to be cognizant of, and we did this, it was something that we did, was ask the people if we should tear it down, and we did have a majority vote. So
We did.
We need to, if we're going to come up with this plan,
You have to read.
I don't think it has to be revoted, but I think that the citizens need to be aware, have some input on this, because
I agree. It needs to be. It was a non-binding vote, of course. It was an
Right.
advisory vote,
Right.
and given the facts and we certainly, Mark spent his short but whole career trying to get that thing torn down. That was his mission when he came in here, and he never did get it. He went out the same way he came in, with no answer. It isn't like we haven't tried, and now faced with the fact that to tear it down without permission is going to cost $1 million, I think that the citizens would probably be on board with the cheapest route available to them on the 55% that wanted it torn down, and the 45% that didn't want it torn down. I believe they would be thrilled with that.
And the big thing
Well,
is,
it's just turning into it's gonna pass us a bunch of maintenance, and it's not gonna.
the maintenance is gonna be the big thing, you know, how much to keep it up there, you know, how much a
Mhm.
year to keep it, you
I
know.
know.
That's the
Yeah.
trick. you
I know.
Well, maybe like you said, you can talk to.
Yeah, I'll-
Silver, call 'em.
Okay.
Yeah, we
You're
can-
gonna, you're gonna.
Yeah, well,
Everybody's fine with trying to be talked to them. What else?
okay.
Anything else in the old courthouse, new courthouse? Future business.
I got one thing, the question. I was looking at the, our daily cash balance, you know, on the sheet here. We got CDs and First United Bank Forward and the rest of them, you know. Are they automatic renewals on the CDs on those, or they go up to high rates? You follow what I'm saying, Sam? You know, they set at a fixed rate.
You're right.
You follow what I'm saying, you know, because now the rate's up there quite a bit.
Yep.
That'd be a question for the treasurer.
Yeah, that'd be a
Okay.
question for Maddie.
Connie in the past has worked with the banks
Okay.
and tried to look forward on what interest rates were doing and then
Yeah.
adjusted the length of the CD accordingly. So if the interest rates are going up, it would be a short-term CD if they're,
Yep.
yeah. And so that was usually, that has been the job of the treasurer. I don't know what it is.
So should we just put up for the next time or next agenda, put that on there and just see what it is?
If you want to have the treasurer come and explain that
let's
to you,
do
that's
that
fine.
and see,
Okay.
you know, what it is. You know, there's a lot of money sitting in people. I mean, there's a lot of CDs and stuff. See what they're getting.
There is.
Okay.
And, it's not in the bank's best interest to,
No, not tell us. No.
no, so.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's 600,000 in CDs.
Yeah. The other question I had was, Jamie made me answers too. Is they're arguing about the North Dakota PERS again? Can we bring that up for the next agenda? I mean, put that on next. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's some Senate bills or House bills going through that right now, right?
Yeah, and
The Senate bill is to
Yeah.
do away with it, the House
something
bill is,
different.
or vice versa.
I think there's actually a couple in each house. In each house.
Mhm.
But yeah, we
Okay,
can
we'll put that,
bring it
yeah.
up. But I can do a little
Yep.
research, see where it's at
Okay.
before then. I don't know where it's at right now.
On the retirement side or the health insurance side?
The
Or-
retirement side.
The
Okay.
retirement
Which
side,
side, that's what
correct.
they're.
That's
they're-
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do that next time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it.
Yeah. Well, barring any other business, I would ask for a
Oh, that's gonna be
motion.
me.
Try and be with a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Josh Averill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. Next meeting, Thursday, April 20th in this room.